Hello, it's TC. Welcome to Brit Rock Guitar. In the last session, I was looking at the parts of an acoustic guitar. I had a few requests in the comment sections for a similar video on parts of electric guitars. Of course, a lot of you beginners out there start on electric guitar, which is absolutely fine. There are certain benefits of that. For example, lighter strings, which aren't too heavy on the fingers. That's a real boon when you're starting out with playing guitar. So here it is. Well, it's not quite an electric guitar. It's actually known as a semi-hollow body electric acoustic guitar. This one is a very nice guitar, but has similar features to an electric in terms of the pickup, so we'll come to those in a moment. So similar to the acoustic, this guitar, like all guitars, are separated into three main parts. So you have the body up here, you have the fretboard, and you have this part which is the headstock. So we're going to start with this area, the headstock here. So as you can see, you've got your tuning keys here, which obviously very important in terms of tightening or loosening your strings and getting the right tuning for your guitar and for your songs. Of course, some songs are in drop D tuning, for example. Many rock songs are in tuned half step down. So this is where or how you would do that. Of course, you have your nuts like you would have in the acoustic guitar. But what you have here also is this part where you can do your truss rod adjustments. So this is where if there are any issues with the neck or the fretboard, or you want to change the action of your guitar, for example, if your strings are too high and too hard to push down, then this is where you would do that particular job. I would also reiterate that it's really important that you get somebody who's an expert if anybody's adjusting or setting up your guitar. I wouldn't recommend doing it yourself in the early days. There's nothing worse than having a go and then you end up breaking a string or damaging the guitar, and then you kind of turn your back on the guitar then. So I don't want you to be in that situation. Get it set up, pay your £10–15 to get the new strings, get it all set up nicely, get it all cleaned up. It's money well spent in the long run for sure. So that's the headstock part of the guitar. Now the next part is called the neck, and this consists of the fretboard, which you can see here. So this is where you'll play the guitar here. This is the magic area of the guitar, the area that gives us so much pleasure. You can see that the fretboard is split into a series of frets marked by these metal vertical parts here. These parts on the 3rd, 5th, you've also got on the 1st, 7th, 9th, 12th, 15th, 17th, 19th. These are inlays. So these are really helpful when it comes to fingering and playing the guitar. There's an interesting part on here, sometimes on the top they're marked as well. Remember, when you're playing the guitar should sit flat really against your body. You shouldn't be playing like this, looking down at the fretboard at the top of it. You know, so it's quite helpful to have those markers on the top when you're playing your different chords and looking down. On this guitar you've got binding here. This is a nice binding, this kind of creamy white here. Adds a nice aesthetic touch to the guitar, which can really make a difference in terms of the way that it looks aesthetically. Yeah, so that's the neck, that's the fretboard there, and in this case I think we've got here an ebony fretboard here, which is a really nice, gives a nice tone to this particular guitar. Moving up here to the body, you can see this is the largest part of this particular guitar here. With this one you've got the bridge here, so all of the strings are held in place here in the bridge. You've got the saddle part here, which just pins everything down. You've got your scratch plate or pick guard, again when you're playing guitar, especially a nice guitar like this with this nice maple, nice shiny finish. I think it's violin sunburst is the colour of this one. The last thing you want is to be playing heavily and then scratching the surface of that. Too nice to do that. So you've got your pick guard here. Now other parts that are similar, you've also got of course your strap buttons, one on the back here and the other one on the side here. This is different to standard acoustic. This is your output jack to your amp, and of course when you're playing through the amp you're going to get different sounds on an electric guitar or a semi-hollow body in this case. What you have here is you have pickups. So this is we call the neck pickup because it's near to the neck, and this is the bridge pickup because it's near to the bridge. If you flick up on this one, that will give you this pickup. This pickup will be perhaps a little bit darker, a little bit more rockier in most electric guitars. If you flick it to the bottom, it will be the bridge pickup, and that normally is a little bit brighter in tone. The middle pickup, well, fairly self-explanatory really, but it will give you the best of both of those tones on the coil pickups there. So that's hopefully a nice guide just to get you started with regard to electric guitars. Again, if anything goes wrong on the guitar, I think it's always useful when you search online or call in a guitar shop or anybody who's going to repair your guitar, if you know the parts that you're talking about. So I hope that you picked up a few terms there. In the next video, we're going to be looking at different aspects of playing. So do look at some of those other videos on Britrock guitar. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe.